Okay. Oh man, it's been way too long since we've done this. So. Hola, ¿cómo está? No, I'm I do need to pick back up my Spanish though.
We did watch Coco today too. I was like, oh yeah, it's actually a pretty good Halloween movie, right? Because Dia de
Yeah.
los Muertos. Even though it's in November, because I forget when it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
October, November, close
Coco
enough.
was good. I mean, there's also the Book of the Dead, which came up before Coco, and I think it was not Pixar, DreamWorks maybe. I forget. That's also a good one in my opinion, but Coco was more emotional.
That's essentially how I feel about life. Full of loneliness and misery and suffering and unhappiness. And it's all over much too quickly. The question is, have I learned anything about life?
Hello, everybody. Back like we never left. I am Zane Zenokami Blaylock, joined by my co-host Louis, that Mexican with the K, Sandoval. We've been away for we've been in Guantanamo Bay. Don't ask questions. Don't question it. Don't make a comment about it. Don't send us an email about it. We're just back. We're safe. We'll just leave it at that. Louis, how are you?
Doing very well. That's all I'm allowed to say.
Yes. I'm not. I don't have an American agent staring at me with the Desert Eagle, so we'll just keep going. Anyways, guys, it's been forever and a day since we've been on camera or like anywhere ever actually. Apologies for that, but again, back like we never left, and we have a lot to discuss today. I do want to jump right in and simply say that if you've not watched our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/essence of Zen, actually, I think our channel has been grandfathered in so long that you can just do youtube.com/essence of Zen and it'll all just automatically route you to the channel. We do have Odyssey channels, soon Kick, and a few others. A lot going on there. We'll have more to talk about that in the future. But yeah, we did a video covering some cool mics by the company Fifine. And I really want you guys to go see it if you've not, because I put a lot of work in it. And again, it was a sponsored video. So, I'm just kind of shilling myself. I cannot take this damn thing out. So here's a dynamic mic. And then we have the Fifine condenser mic. They're great mics. I'm still using the Samson mic here. Sorry, Fifine, if you're watching. I did say I would switch to it for the podcast. I still plan on it, but I need a new rig to hold it because like these little legs they're too short. I would have to be like, hello, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to have my neck hurt after the podcast. So please go check that out and let us know what you think. And we might be doing another video with a sponsorship from Fifine in the future. So just, stay tuned for that. Louis, you've been working on any cool, interesting projects as of late?
I do have one latest one. It
Ooh.
is a little meme database. It is not ready for prime time. I'm still refining it, but I'm planning to make it like a little Docker container once it's all set to go. So people can just spin up and just upload their memes and have a little meme database. Self-hosting, baby.
That's nice.
Wow.
And there will be a premium subscription for $39.99 for the elitist of me. I don't know. Everybody's doing like subscription. Dare I say first tangent of the podcast session, Louis? I heard that Microsoft is planning to do a Windows subscription. Not for all things, though. I think it's for like a particular enterprise scenario. But if they go that route, give it 10 years and that subscription will trickle down to the consumer version of the. I'm positive it will, sadly.
The games package, the browser package, nah, just kidding. That's not going to make money. Now I was going to pay for Edge.
Well, I mean, now that they got a Chat GPT integrated with Bing, it's not unlikely. If it ever gets popular over the next 5 years, I could see them actually trying to charge a subscription service for like Edge Elite or Elite Edge or maybe like a Halo Edge. I don't know, some type of weird Microsoft interconnected
Ugh.
marketing.
Imagine it gets to the point where like DirectX doesn't even come bundled with it. There's like a special gamers like version of Windows you gotta buy. Oh man, that'd move everyone to Linux
Yeah.
overnight.
Hey, again, hey, look. Oh man, another tangent. A lot of people give a lot of other game, market. What do they call these things? Like they're clients, but I forget what the gamer term for them is. But Steam versus Epic, the Epic Store. There's a GOG
The launchers, right?
launchers.
The
Thank you.
games.
Yes. People hate everything that's not Steam, and I'm like, you got to remember, Steam was also hated when it first came out because it was literally putting DRM on video games from an era where there was no DRM. Now, granted, Steam has been mostly consistent with good practices, good morals, and actually holding true to their values or statements. When they say something, they've always done it. And so they always say that if they go out of business, they will release a key that will unlock all DRMs for their games. Currently, I believe that would still hold true. Point I'm trying to get to, though, is Steam alone has significantly pushed Linux gaming on Linux so far ahead. And then AMD with their open source stuff around ray tracing with AMD GPUs via, I forgot, it's like, it's not FreeSync, what is it called? AMD oh, Jesus.
Mental? No, that's the API.
Oops.
But FreeSync I do like though, because it is an open standard. It's right. Anyone can just throw it in there. Spec is open, unlike G-Sync, which is the same thing.
Yeah. Not pro render. Oh god, what is it?
Oh, apologies for the Nvidia fans. I know I remember reading it's slightly different, and there's a slight performance or slightly more performance, but like processors are getting faster and faster.
DLSS versus, maybe Google will help me out. I think it's either FSR or XES. I think it's FSR. AMD FSR, which stands for AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution. I think that's it. Yes, FSR 3 frame generation and the new native AA quality mode. Yes, FSR. That's what I was trying to remember. FSR.
Gotcha.
That's open source. And so, I don't know if you recall or if you were privy to when Starfield released, and we'll talk a little bit more about Starfield momentarily. When Starfield released, because it got bought by Microsoft, and Microsoft is currently partnered with AMD, it was announced that Starfield would not release with DLSS support, which is NVIDIA's ray tracing, upscaling, frame generation stuff. And everyone was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, we'll get to it eventually. It's just not on their list for priorities to launch with, which, good, bad, whatever. But people were pointing out that, no, it comes with FSR. And FSR is supported for both AMD GPUs and NVIDIA GPUs. And I believe it's in the works to support the Intel GPUs. Whereas NVIDIA's DLSS is just NVIDIA. So,
Yeah.
AMD's not perfect. AMD's not a saint. AMD is not your friend. AMD is a company that wants your money. But I will give props to a more open platform that you can use on any card. So, hey, thanks, AMD. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so, what?
Yeah, I mean, Google does similar with their codecs that they made for, YouTube, the VP9, the VP8 codecs.
Yeah.
They made, so it's like, I mean, cool. I appreciate it. I like you guys making an open standard because if you ever looked at, what is it? H.265, there's actually licensing fees you got to pay.
Yeah.
For stuff for that. So, HDMI ports, right? People forget that's also a little license standard too. It's very convenient, but yeah.
Which also, I think I want to put in the EOZ Cloud deck of ideas to get back into looking at the Chromium source stuff, because I think we discussed, or we had a conversation almost 4 weeks ago, because I was complaining how I hate almost every browser is becoming Chromium based, and you was like, well, yeah, but at least Chromium's open source, and I was like, yeah, but if Google's is at the helm, they can literally decide what they want for the main web standards, opposed to everybody, and especially nowadays because. This show should just be called Nothing But a Tangent. No, that was actually no. My Colombian friend, if you're watching, I still appreciate this, and I still might use this for an offshoot podcast. But he was just like, you guys are going on so many tangents, you should call the show Nothing But a Tangent. And I was like, if we were not 3 seasons deep, probably would. But no, YouTube is doing the whole anti-ad block on YouTube.
Oh, I can't see where you're going with this. Yeah.
And if this works out and that becomes a standard, they might release that standard as a built-in Chromium library to try to prevent ad blockers everywhere. And before the people out in the world gets mad saying, you shouldn't block ads because you're taking away ad revenue from content creators and etc. One, we're content creators. We also make money via ads. So, yeah. But the biggest thing is, well, most of the stuff that we try to block are mainly trackers. I'm sorry, but you can do an ad without a tracker. I don't need you trying to track me to see what my interests are so you can send me emails and mails and try to gauge what I'm going to buy and then try to appeal to my emotions and then figure out, everyone likes doing this or using this service. So in 2 years, let's up the price of this service. All this weird secretive stuff. And we're gonna get further into why it's not good to give companies too much information later in the show. And sadly, it's one of the most effed up scenarios I think we've seen in a long time. Oh boy.
I agree with you, Zane, about the Chromium thing. Begrudgingly put the web developer inside me. A very good, very talented web developer, for any of you possible employers watching. Is cried inside. He's like, oh my god, I like having everything be the same platform because everything just works. I don't have to test it in Firefox and Safari. But yeah, no, I definitely see what you mean. It is a valid concern because, the web is just going to be Google at that point, right?
And 10, 15 years ago, I used to be so supportive of Google. I used to I loved everything Google. I used to love the slogan, "Don't be evil." And
a lot of people did, yeah.
And it's slowly and slowly, Google has lived long enough to see themselves become the villain, and it just rolls deeper and deeper every year, which another topic we will later get into. But while we're already talking about messed up stuff a little bit, I do want to at least mention this as a quick offshoot, and I'm probably going to make a dedicated video that probably maybe 5 or 10 minutes long, I'm not sure. But I wanted to wait a bit before covering it because I wanted to wait until as much information is out as possible. And I'm still waiting on the investigation to finish and for the findings to be published publicly. But the whole Linus Tech Tips controversy. So, Lewis, do you have any personal thoughts or anything on that whole train wreck of controversy?
I think they both got some valid points. The oh man, I blanked out on his name now. Campus Nexus.
Yes.
Yeah, I forget his name. But yeah, he's got some valid points there. Particularly the water block thing. I remember watching a bit of Linus's bit saying that no, he's not going to retest it. It's tested fine. And they said it was going to be ready, and then I get it. Logistically, you got to keep going as a company with your reviews, right? Because that's kind of what makes you money. I get that point too. I mean, they both have valid points. I tend to agree more with Gamers Nexus on that one. But then regarding the other stuff, with Madison, I was like, that's right. I'm guessing that's what you're alluding to there, right? With the extra data, I'm just I don't know what to believe, right? Some other things are just let's see what the cards land, man.
Yeah. So for those who may not be privy to the news, which I applaud you because it means you have not slaved away on the internet for 24/7 of your life and you've been outside touching grass. Good. Keep doing that. I'm not even joking there. So Linus Tech Tips is one of the biggest TechTube channels on YouTube or even on the internet in general. They have a massive stake of share for tech information, tech reviews, tech news, and generally just a personality of people that a lot of people love and appreciate. And I will say one thing. I am actually very glad that a lot of the public immediately was just like, yeah, no, I idolize them, but if this is actually like true, and if this is like, if they did all of this knowingly, then no, they should be held accountable. Good. Keep doing that. Your idols are not gods. They're not these special people who are, above the law or morals, ideals, etc. Good. But
That's on the other hand pretty cool though. Just want to throw that in there.
very true. Maybe. But likewise, also wait till as much information is out to truly make an informed decision. So what happened? A lot happened. So there's a few things. I'm actually also going to pinpoint some of the responses that they eventually came out to just address everything openly. And I think they did things correctly, even if a tad bit late. But I understand you want to get everything together, plan it out, and make sure you're clear, concise with your response. Which is another thing. Do not rush people to make a response. Just don't rush. Just wait. So one of the biggest things that I found was like incredibly egregious was they sold a prototype of a water block at a fundraiser event without permission. And they sold it at a place where competitors of this water block manufacturing company, they were a startup, were at. So it's possible that a competitor bought their prototype and could potentially using their R&D to make, cheaper versions of it and basically just beat them to market and undersell them, essentially destroying them as a company. They addressed how that happened. They had a break in communication. They sold it, tried to talk to them, forgot to tag them to the email again. Just whole debacle. But hey, they're trying to make up for it. They're trying to offer, the right funds, type of compensation, and they're trying to reach out to the person who actually bought the block to see if they can't get it back and sort everything out. That's the best they can do in this situation. Next thing, bad information on graphs and just bad hardware testing. It just is what it is. They messed up because they were trying to rush and they were crunching, projects for their developers, researchers, and their lab staff, and it resulted in really bad products or productions. All they gotta do, scale back, be better about their findings. They're gonna do that, and they actually even talked about this months, maybe even a year before this controversy. There was it was a Float Plane exclusive, I believe. Float Plane being their personal video platform, and they put it on YouTube by saying, what's it like working at LTT? And one of the most common things that they focused on with every single employee that got in front of the camera was they were doing crunch, and it was very stressful, and they wish it would stop, and they wanted to pull back. And you had even some of their video production leads, I forget their names. God, he's a little short, got a goatee, whatever. Talked about how he was pushing to Linus to pull back on the scheduling. So it was known, it was made public, whatever. Now they're actually doing it though. They're actually pulling back now. Good, the best that they can do.
I think I remember, just to interject real quick, one of them saying, one of the video editors saying like, yeah, I haven't pushed out anything that I'm actually particularly proud of in the last like X amount of time. I remember one of them saying, it's like, oh man, that's rough.
Yeah. And I don't blame it. One of the most embarrassing gotcha moments was one of the staff was reviewing a mouse, and they were like, oh, the mouse doesn't move well on the trackpad or on the pad. And then people pointed out when he unboxed it, there were plastic, coverings on the feet. They didn't remove the plastic. So they call this mouse crap because they didn't remove the plastic.
I think someone, I think it was in a WAN show. I think it was Linus or Luke. I forget who. But they were saying like, well, I mean, if they aren't smart enough to like list like that you got to remove this feet, or if it takes like, this many people to figure out that there's plastic on it, like we used to all the time, it maybe is a jank product. I was like, I mean, I guess maybe I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think you should just know with all these reviews.
No, look, there's a point. There are some people who will not check to remove the plastic on the feet. And I know this for a fact because I've seen people return a stove to Best Buy. I'm not going to give you how I have the inside information on this. Lewis, you actually might know who my insider is on this topic. You know. But anyway, this person returned a stove, like put it on the back of their truck, drove it all the way up after they had it delivered, and just like, I ordered a white stove, not a blue stove. And they were cursing at the staff, cursing at everybody, saying, "Why did you give me a blue stove?"
I think I know where this is going.
And my inside person was just like, "What do you mean?" They showed the stove, and the inside person walked up and went, "This stove here." And like, "Yeah, why is it blue?" So yes, there is a point there. But when you are a YouTube tech channel, one of the biggest on the platforms, you've been doing this for more than a decade, I'm sorry, there's no excuse for you. Check the feet.
There's a fence that like really tight blue tape is really hard to remove, but still, yeah.
Oh, but no, like see, how do I want to phrase this? People gave them as an LTT more leeway about the plastic on the mouse, as opposed to, who was it? The Verge that did the build how to build a PC thing.
I don't think I ever saw that one.
It was a big controversy. Like this guy tried to do a tutorial video of how to put together a PC, and it was bad. It was real bad.
Oh, so what the RAM chips were like? It wasn't pushed. Yeah, okay, I remember now.
And we later found it, because, matter of fact, LTT brought this guy on to figure out what the hell happened, and it was explained that the guy was not the one who was supposed to film that video, and the higher up said, "We're gonna film today, so someone got to do it," and they just got a random staff member who does not know how to build computers to do it.
Clearly, yeah.
But I would give more leeway to a noob building a computer than an established tech company that has built a testing lab to test hardware, who didn't check the feet of the mouse.
That's true, yeah.
Embarrassing.
Fair point.
Embarrassing. And no matter how you slice it, embarrassing. So, live and learn, sure, but geez, it's Luke or whoever said that, they probably should have a thing in the book. That does not change the fact that you guys should have checked the feet of the mouse. I swear. And so the last major thing from the LTT controversy was that they had a staff who had actually moved from the States to Canada to work, at that company. Her name is Madison, and she had came out about some unsavory experiences there. And, overall, in terms of the actual allegations, the ones that matter, she said some other stuff that I kind of feel like doesn't really have a leg to stand on. But that apart aside, the actual problem stuff, I'm tending to lean towards believing her. How do I phrase this? People state that because LTT is small, or like, we grew up with LTT for years, right? The thing is, though, LTT has grown substantially bigger in the last 5 to 8 years. They're now like over 100 employees. And this notion or this idea or this perception that, Linus and even Yvonne, Luke, and more are just tuned into everything that happens at the company of over 100 employees is just unrealistic. So
stuff, yeah.
How look, Linus is always late for WAN show. The man is always doing something. I doubt he even knows who the latest hire is at his company.
Right, because he's not in charge of hiring anymore. He's got special people to trust him. Like, he's got 3 kids, right? He's got lots of things on his mind on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Deals, sponsorships, right? New product launches.
So I'm not going to hold him accountable for knowing what goes on, especially if it's not brought to his attention. So some people stated that a HR meeting was going around right after apparently Madison quit, and that proved that Linus knew about what was going on. Somebody actually leaked the audios for us to listen, and I'm not going to play it because you can find it online, but I don't feel like trying to showcase something that, internal that should be sensitive. Just I don't feel like it's okay to do so. But in that recording, he does not acknowledge. It's not clear. I say I don't want to send a recording, but I'm also going to explain like what was said in it a little bit. Towing a very fine line here, personally. He mentions that he heard from HR that something was going on, but was not privy to the actual full information. And he stated that if something happens and you don't feel confident or comfortable to speak with him or Yvonne, go to HR. Their HR is a third-party entity. Now, you can still argue that a third-party entity HR can still be for the boss or for the company or etc. And that's possible. It's not crazy. But at the same time, why would they be beholden to a company that doesn't own them? And they get money either way. So it's not really...
Well, I think it could swing either way sometimes. Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, HR is kind of there to protect the company's interests, right? But good HR will like help actually like resolve disputes a little bit, right? Because it actually cares about the health of the company too.
But I typically only see the HR gunning for the good of the company when HR belongs to the company, not as a third party.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So again, anything is possible. I don't know the insides. I'm just trying to state that at the very least, the HR department isn't owned by LTT, from what I've read and heard. Allegedly, I'm not a lawyer. So no, I don't think that proves that Linus was filled in on all of this information that was going on. And so when it was brought to the attention, they publicly said they were going to bring in a third-party investigator. They're going to investigate and interview every single employee. If they find someone who is responsible for said actions, they will terminate that employee. And they will publish the findings publicly when that third-party investigation company finishes their investigation. So that's what I'm waiting for next, is for that investigation stuff to happen and for that information to be published. And I want to go through it and see how detailed and how accurate, and if there's any scrutiny that you can pull out of it, and etc. But the point still stands. The response from LTT, from Linus, their new CEO, Yvonne, and etc., all seems like every right move was made. Mistakes happen, and you should hold people accountable for their mistakes. But you should also realize that we're all human. Mistakes will happen, and we should be able to have a chance to rectify, become better, and make up for those mistakes. So that's where I will leave it. But yeah, that actually went longer than I expected it to. So some other controversies, video games. Lewis, have you been playing any games lately at all?
I've not. No, I've been living through others.
So lately, I've been held up as well. I have not been able to play within the last, I think, 2.5 weeks. But when Starfield launched, I took like 4 or 5 days off work, and I played that game back to back nonstop. I mean, like I got like 3 hours of sleep every night for like 4 nights. Anywho's, a lot of people are perplexed by Starfield. There's a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of people who are just like, they said this game was going to be the best game. It's like, no one ever said that. It's Bethesda. It's a Bethesda game. Matter of fact, there was a lot of jokes for years saying, Starfield is just going to be Fallout in space. It's going to be Skyrim in space. Guess what, y'all? It's Skyrim Fallout in space. What did you think? So I don't I don't know. People were expecting like Unreal 5 or The Witcher / Cyberpunk 22 or 2023 or whatever, 2077. I forget the year of Cyberpunk. I think 2077.
2037.
I don't know.
I forget too. I never played it.
Apparently that got a massive update and it fixed all the problems and stuff. So I'm going to be revisiting that this winter as well at some point, hopefully. But yeah, the game to me has met my expectations. It's a Bethesda Game Studios game, and I loved everything about it, aside from a few nitpicks here and there. But that's like with any game. No game is perfect. And I will go a step further, because people keep saying they need to get rid of their game engine and like switch to something else. I hardcore disagree. Game Embryo? Whatever their engine is called, is one of the most moddable game engines to date still. And I get it. People say Bethesda is lazy having modders come in and add and fix stuff with the games. I don't care. The mods are typically, because a few now are being put behind paywalls, which I actually don't fully disagree with. I think if a modder spends 5 months working on a mod and it's a really good mod, and Bethesda goes, yeah, we give you permission to, charge like $1 or $2 for it, I'm not gonna lose my freaking mind. If I don't want to buy it, I'll just find a different mod that does something similar. It's not that complicated. I understand the slippery slope here, but again, if someone puts 5 months into something, I don't mind compensating them if it's a good thing. Anyway.
Creation Engine 2, by the way.
Thank you. What the hell is Game Embryo then? I don't know. That sounds nasty. And so it's one of the most moddable engines to date. And it's because of like the community around Bethesda Game Studios, and their modding community is what elevates it so much. I get it. Don't be lazy with your games. And I gotta argue, there's a reason why Bethesda always waits 1 year at least before releasing the creation kit for making mods. They want you to play it vanilla. And in my opinion, Starfield holds out pretty well with vanilla. So I'm just a little miniature rant there. But have you heard about the other story that's on the docket?
The next story. Oh, no, actually, no, not that one. I thought we were going to general topics. No, I did not catch that one at all.
The Rockstar one.
No. That one's interesting.
Yeah, man. So,
I don't... What was the story there?
So, you know how every game publisher, game studio, game such and such, yada, 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 is always saying, oh, pirating is bad, and blah, 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 blee, blue, blue. I'm trying to find my browser in camera. There we go. Yeah, so Rockstar got caught selling pirated versions of their own game on Steam.
But why?
So
why is it?
Yeah, because of DRM. So they wanted to re-release a lot of their old games that has DRM on them, and they don't have the tools needed to unlock the DRM, because these are games that used to sell on like hard physical things. So instead of doing the right thing of like going through the proper channels and trying to find a way to fully decrypt the DRM off the game to allow it to be on Steam, they went, we'll just steal somebody else's stolen work. And they went and found, he was an active cracker. That's going to be taken out of context. He was a very active game DRM breaker. Let's say that. I don't want to get labeled a racist. Razor1911, or I think it might have been a team actually. I forget. They went out and found these pirated, torrented games with this group or hacker or individual hacker coded, for breaking the DRM and lock stuff on it, and just took it and used that and uploaded that on Steam underneath the business account.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I'm looking at this hack stump now, and I'm seeing Razor 911. They're like, oh man, if that doesn't tell you how DRM can backfire.
And I think how someone discovered this is someone actually saw it on Steam. They bought it, and they didn't know it was like it was the pirated version or whatever. Back in the day, developers would like hide little code snippets that would change the game when they detected like faulty injections of code. So it's like, oh, we see you tried to crack our game or tried to jailbreak it or whatever. We're gonna make the game impossible to beat. Well. Someone bought the game, was playing it, realized they couldn't get through a certain part, and then they had a memory jog and went, yeah, no, I remember this from years ago. This happens when you have a pirated version of the game. And so they looked into it, and that's how they found out it was the pirated version.
Oh my god. Wow. Wow.
I don't know what to say other than should Rockstar sue themselves? I don't.
Well, at least, yeah. I doubt Razor 911 is going to see any sort of royalties from Help One.
Oh. If anything, This just shows how good of a hacker, developer, coder, yada 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 they are, to the point where even the actual company that you sought to undermine will use your stuff.
At least offer the guy a job.
At
the very least.
They could have brought him in to remove all of the stuff officially.
Right. I guess the whole group, right? Like hire the whole group or something, right? Make it their own little department. Pay them to crack your own games.
Oh man. Okay, so we're gonna move off our light topics, even though it took almost 50 minutes to get through the light topics. It never fails, man. We got a problem. We have a serious issue. Anyway, the Google Apple events, did you catch them at all?
I said I was, but then I didn't. I saw the highlights after the fact.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the whole Google stuff? Like everything that they've shown off?
So disappointing. Well, actually, I only looked at the Pixel 8 stuff because I was actually considering upgrading. I like to upgrade at the very least every other generation. I don't like to upgrade right after. It's just disappointing. Just very small quality of life upgrades, like ooh, camera, ooh, look at the AI can now, what is it, change like the background on your little beach, make it like a sunset. Like, ooh, what was the other one that they had? The whole audio AI thing, which I'm like, I mean, I guess that's cool, but if you're really looking to do that, there's tools that could do that for you. Actually, maybe there isn't, but I would imagine there is stuff. That's what you're trying to get into. Why do you need to do this all on your phone? I guess it's nice, but like if you look at Adobe's offerings, they are integrating a lot of AI into like their, I guess I would call it like an enhanced clone stamp tool to like auto fill and auto remove things. But overall, I was just kind of like disappointed. Nothing really great. I was really hoping for MagSafe, no, not MagSafe, Qi Charging 2, which comes with like little MagSafe thing, and make that a whole universal standard, because Apple has actually a good thing going there with the magnetic alignment for the Qi chargers there that they shared, and they had brought that up in this year's not CNET.
WWDC?
What is it? No, the one in January. Las Vegas, January. The big tech one. I remember that was announced, not by Google per se, but
I forget.
But I think that the Qi Alliance or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping for that in the next one, but they didn't have that. I guess another point that we're gonna talk about too, but the 7 years of support. I was like, really? I'm like, I don't believe you. I hope that's true, but I don't believe you. Like, what does that look like? What are the terms and conditions there? What do you mean 7 years of support? Like security updates?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
dude.
What are your thoughts there?
Same, man. Like, a lot of people are saying it. Google has a trust issue now. They say all these great things. They give us a lot of great things, and then they go, never mind, we're taking it back, and they just snatch it away. And so I wouldn't be shoot, what was it? Was it Google or was it someone else?
Google does do that.
Yeah, but there was something specific where like it was a new product or a new system or a new service or a new software, and they said like, hey, we're gonna give it this amount of time of support, and then a month before that time was up, they discontinued it, so that even if people who bought into it, they lost all warranty, all stuff. So that, if it broke after they discontinued it, they're no longer able to get compensated. And it's like, I've never seen something get released, given a support window, and then get decommissioned before the first support window even finishes.
It wasn't. So when you said all that, the first thing that came to mind was Google Wave, but I know that's not it. Not Stadia, although that was pretty hilarious too. Like no one really bought into it.
Let's see if I can't find it. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. If
They
I
finally
remember
update
it,
their page.
if I remember it
Sorry.
before we publish this session, I'll put it in post. But I don't remember what it was. It's gonna drive me mad. Maybe someone in the comments can jog my memory later. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's not cool. So I don't trust them. I really don't. I can imagine by year 3, if they release like the Pixel 9 or Pixel 10 by then, they'll. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't want to jinx anything. I high key doubt we'll get the full 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah, something's gonna happen, or they're gonna change it, and like, oh hey, or just kind of how I'm getting this here, like our terms of service have changed again, right? I'm looking at the Stadia homepage because I remember last time we talked about it, they hadn't updated their homepage yet, but now they finally updated like the homepage, like, oh cool, Stadia shut down January 18, 2023. Yeah, I don't even know who bought into that, but I think me and you were pretty skeptical from the get-go. Like, yeah, it's like this cloud gaming thing has failed over and over and over again. And it's like, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to do it. Oh, but Google will do it. Google's here today. Like, it's dead.
I think apparently Markiplier was a big fan of Google Stadia.
Was he? Not anymore.
Oddly enough. But we'll talk a bit more about some Google murdering news a little bit later. But no, just in general. So the 7 years, I don't know, man. And apparently a lot of this information leaked ahead of time, and I wasn't privy to it because I was outside touching grass. Which, a reminder, everyone in the world who's listening or watching, find time to go outside and touch grass. Seriously, like it does stuff for your mental health. Legitimately, go do it. But yeah, they also are integrating their new AI research and systems into their Pixel systems, into Google Assistant, and etc. We're gonna talk a bit more about that as well, with some problems with their AI.
And just data privacy in general. It's just kind of like, there's all this AI, there's all this collection, like, of people's data.
So let me ask you: do you still use Google Photos?
Yeah. I would say I'm not. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned a bit with that. Yeah.
Because every major update, I keep getting like, "Hey, who is this face? You want to tie a name to it?" And I'm like, "If I do, are you gonna store it in a system somewhere?"
Why? Who's asking?
Yeah, exactly. And 2, dude, do you remember back in the day when Google Photos had like free storage for anything that wasn't super high res?
Oh, did they remove that?
Oh, yeah, that's been gone. That's been gone for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, wow. Like, I was just like, you know what? Whatever, man. Just everything high res. But I didn't know they removed that.
Yeah. So like, for like me personally, I used to have so many photos put on Google Photos that I had converted from high res to their freest or their highest size.
The standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, since they removed it, I am constantly notified that my Google storage is 83% full.
I'm at 86. I got to beat. I get it like every month now or something. I don't know how often. It's like, yeah, whatever.
And I'm just like, I mean, I get it. I truly cannot fault this move, because I understand that the more users you get and the more users you have, the more they'll upload, and the more you upload, the more storage you require. The more storage you require, the more hosting costs you have. The more cost is the more redundancy. More redundancy means you're doubling the cost. It scales drastically and quickly, and I get it. It's going to cost money, so I'm not too peeved. But I am now I am now aware, like I am clear. I'm not Scientologist, but I am clear. I might have to bleep that, actually. I'm not sure if YouTube has a problem with me saying Scientology. I don't know. No, they do this on purpose. They give something out for free with the full knowledge that it will not stay free in a few years, because it's a bad market, or it's a bad model. It's a model that will not make you money, and over time will become a massive drain of your money. So of course it won't be free forever. But then it's like, don't even start being free then. Start it being either cheap with the message that after a certain amount of users, the cost will increase. And if you are really good and cool, and if it can work out in your projections, your first 100, first 1,000, your first whoever amount of users who sign up should keep that pricing because they were the first ones to elevate your platform to make it popular. They should be grandfathered in and seen as like hey, because you helped us here, we're going to help you by keeping your price this. Every new user will have a higher price because now we're reaching that scaling amount of cost. In my opinion, maybe some people say that's a bad or a bad model. I think that's a reasonable one personally. I don't know.
I'm personally a sucker for those like loyalty things. Like, oh, thanks for being like a member for like 3 years. We're gonna give you 20% off now as long as you keep it going. It's like, oh, thank you. I'll keep it going. Thanks for noticing, senpai.
Matter of fact, I am currently writing a script for a video because I want to give a shout out to a company. They got bought a while ago. I forget by who, but the software was called Synergy. Man, let me go look it up real quick. But Synergy is
the one that gives you like the yeah, man. It's like, how are you guys? The one that lets you just move the cursors.
Yes.
Yeah, I got Synergy 2 now. I'm just like, thanks. And then like, what? They got Synergy 3 now. Like, and I just paid for Synergy 1. I was like, dang. Like, I mean, I don't mind paying for these upgrades, but thanks.
Yes, but to me, they have the so Seamless is the parent company apparently. Seamless, I think Seamless. It makes sense to be Seamless. But if you look for Synergy, and you look at the pricing model, even if you jump into Synergy 3 and you pay the money for it, it's not like a subscription thing. And it's like you pay one time for a license for Synergy 3, and if they come out with a massive update, you still get to use Synergy 3 because you paid for it. And if you want to upgrade to 4, you just pay again for a license for number 4. So if you don't want to move up, if it's working fine for you, there's no need to shill out more money. And I find that the coolest thing. They're not money hungry. The software is awesome. I might continue to buy every license for every version just because they're cool. That's how you win me over.
Software. Imagine owning software. Yeah.
Oh, what is Louis Rossman's repeated phrase? You will own nothing, and you will love it, or something like that.
You'll own nothing and be happy, or something.
Yeah,
I think it is.
So I don't know, man. I'm showing the viewers of the podcast the actual Synergy site and what you can buy it at. So you got personal use. $29. It gives you a lifetime download access. So because you have that license, you can continuously download Seamless 3 forever. It gives you 1 year of technical support and 1 year of the software updates. After that, they move on to the next major version. And again, if you don't need it, don't buy it. Just stick with what you have. But if you do want the newer version, just shell out a little bit more money. And then you got that version for another year into the next major version. It's really, it's not that difficult. It's not that hard. I don't understand why more people, well, I mean, I know why, because greedy and they can just keep making that sweet Seymour Skinner money. But I don't know, man. I'm old and jaded.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I feel like I'm being nickel and dimed all the time, and I just kind of want to be able to own things. Maybe it's just a generational thing that millennials suffer from. Just want to own things, man.
Speaking of owning things and potentially never really getting back to what it used to be, iPhones. No, because like what is it? Apple is now selling like a USB-C to Lightning adapter for like $70 now, I think. Hold on.
What?
Yeah. if you want to talk about the iPhone 15, anything real quick, go ahead and talk about it while I try to find this damn accessory.
Hold on, what? $70?
70, yes.
Okay, well, the iPhone 15, I remember seeing something about the action button, and I was like, what? I actually really like that slider thing. I remember for like the longest time when I had the OnePlus, I just like being in a movie theater and just slide it up. Like it felt like haptic feedback. I'm like, all right, cool. It's locked. That's one of my favorite things about iPhone. But then they just made it into this action button. I'm just thinking like, man, that's gonna get accidentally pressed and like knocked around. I know it's like It's flush. It's flush with the phone, from what I remember. Let me double check now before I look like a fool. If I do look like a fool, then whatever. But I remember it being flush with the body of the phone to make it a little bit hard to press. I'm like, just like able to like feel properly. I don't like it. I personally don't like it. Maybe they did it so that there's less moving parts, so it get exhausted less. Maybe better with water resistance. I have no idea. But I personally don't like it. Ooh, we made it programmable. Yeah. Let's see. I guess I'm also just kind of a sucker for like being able to manipulate things like technology without having to look at a screen. And this button does nothing for me. Like, what does it do when you try to mute it now? Does it actually vibrate back? Does it not?
Right.
I don't know. Overheating issue. Actually don't know about that one. But USB-C, like, finally, dang it. I like how they try to sell it in the presentation. I think Ryan had like alluded to that. Like, that's hilarious to see them try to like make it like sell like if it's something that they did willingly when we know that's just EU regulations. All normies like, yeah, Apple. Sorry, Apple fans. I'm not criticizing you guys. It's still like the blind people who just kind of follow it and just think everything is an Apple invention.
Right. Okay, so quick update. It's not $70. It's $30.
Okay.
Okay,
that's a bit more reasonable, but that's still a bit steep for my taste. Do I get like a triple pack or something?
No, it's just one.
Right.
Yeah. So I swear I remember seeing a $70 one. Cause the one I can find on the website is I think I posted in the After Dark Discord chat. The one I posted there is the USB-C followed by a really short cable followed by the adapter housing for Lightning. The one I remember seeing was no cable, just like a single block where one end was Lightning, the other one was USB-C. So maybe that was fake. Maybe that was a leaked product that was potentially going to be released but didn't make it to market. I don't know. But at least they're not selling something for $70. I would still argue that a USB-C to Lightning for $30 is still egregious, but at least it's not it's not costing an arm and a leg or a new PS5 PS5 or Xbox Series S or X video game, which are now $70 if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, but
okay, yeah, USB-C to Lightning. Okay.
Speaking on the overheating thing, though, let me actually make sure I'm showing the camera or the browser for the thing. So, first and foremost, I actually think the new design of the iPhone 15 is actually pretty sweet. I do like the titanium body, the titanium frame.
Same. I'll commend them on that. I was like for like other metals besides aluminum. Yes. It's nice because it's more recyclable, but like other metals have a different feel to them.
Yes. Though funny story though, MKBHD talked about how he got one of the new iPhone 15s titanium, and he's like, yeah, it's like super durable. Like the actual thing can withstand a lot of impacts. And he said that he had his phone in his pocket, and he sat down on concrete, and he had one of his he's a ultimate frisbee player, so he had like the sports gear on,
right?
Like, that slippery, breathery fabric, and the phone just slid out from his pocket onto the concrete. But again, he's already sitting down. So it's like, not that far from pocket to floor.
Right. Like maybe like that much, like head height, maybe.
Yeah. And
I don't know how it is.
He said it was just like one of those, like, it just went like, boop.
Right.
You could hear it and it's like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's titanium. It's not gonna be an issue. He picked it up and the glass on the back was cracked. I mean, okay, not a big deal. I'm not trying to make this Apple is bad by having a lot of phones will crack and shit. I'm just finding it hilarious that they do this whole titanium. We're gonna make it more durable, and their back is still fragile glass, Gorilla Glass, Sapphire Glass, whatever, still glass.
It's I guess in Apple's defense, let's say for instance that there's just like some tiny little pebbles or like a little rock that just made the surface uneven because it's concrete. and that was enough to crack it, right? Because maybe it just didn't like perfectly flat.
Yeah.
A little micro pebble there.
But the iPhone overheating thing. So I think right now the cause of it is not yet determined. It could either be a software bug but it's only, I think it's mainly happening in the base model. The very standard is smallest iPhone 15. So a lot of people think it's either software or it's because they have that new powered chip in such a smaller form factor, and it might just be a little much. And typically,
I was gonna say they do have fast charge now in all their models, I believe. So I was like, it could be that too.
well, so a lot of people thought so, but apparently people are just saying that they have their phone off in their pocket and it just gets hot. And so they were like, oh, did I leave the flashlight on? Did I leave like a gaming app running? Did I actually turn it on? And they pull it out and it's like, no, it has not been on, no flashlight. It's just hot. So they're they don't know what's going on with it.
Just my FBI guy listening to my conversations.
Yo, dude, it could be Pegasus. You know what Pegasus is, right?
Isn't it that like secret CIA program or something? Yeah. Right.
So I mean, it could be. I don't know. Tinfoil hat. I don't know. But yeah, so and it's not an issue. It's not the biggest issue. At least the phones aren't blowing up. Samsung. It's not catching on fire. Samsung. So hopefully a patch or an update will fix this problem. It's
like grounding planes. Samsung.
They will never live that down. They will never live it down.
Let's see if I remember. It was the Galaxy Note 3, right? Did I get that right?
7, I think.
7? Okay. I did get the Galaxy and the Note part correct, though.
Yes. Let's see. So I'm looking at this one report from ZDNet. New iPhone 15 Pro. So it's also happening on the Pro. Overheating reports still too hot even after the latest iOS 17.0.3 and fresh issues arise after the update. Huh. That's interesting. I'm gonna look more into this. This is actually. It's not every day you see something like this appear on Apple stuff because they typically go through some rigorous testing. I mean, aside from using a phone with antenna bands being blocked by your pinky, they'll never live that down.
In Apple's defense, overheating phones is not a terrible thing right now that winter's coming up here in the north. Just use a little hand warmer.
Hey man, climate change is getting some wacky freezing weathers everywhere. Hey, yeah, it might. You know how when Apple came out with one of the new Apple Watches and they had the commercials about you will die if you do not wear an Apple Watch?
I don't think I ever saw the commercials. I do remember flexing a lot though on the little EKG thing that they had on there.
The commercial was like a dude on an airplane, like a standard airline airplane, and it crashes. And it shows him in the debris of the airplane with the top, blown off. He's in the forest, everything's on fire, and he's still in his seat. And his watch goes off like SOS, and it's just if you are put in a situation where you could not get to a phone or let someone know, SOS will save your life. And everyone's like, what the hell kind of marketing is this? You crashed a plane, and you think your watch is...
one right now. I'm over here looking for a beach ball to have a friend.
Right. So they could use this overheating as the same type of marketing plan. Are you preparing for the winter apocalypse? iPhone 15 overheating will keep your hands warm and prevent frostbite. Get an iPhone 15 titanium. Okay, sure. Oh man, I've lost my train of thought. What was I going to say before this?
Oh no, I just zoomed down to Vision Pro and just kind of shaking my head that launch. Was that still this year? That was this year, right?
Yes.
Oh no, that's available next year. That's right.
Available next year, but they showed it off this year. So.
I'm really hoping they just come out with Apple Vision
to
bring it down and make it more competitive with Meta. I hope that's their strategy.
Yeah. a lot of people assume that the Pro is going to release first for this 1,500 price tag or whatever, and then give it 2 to 3 years once they get feedback from the whales and then the enterprise people who are going to buy it for work and for research and etc. Once they give their feedback, they'll be able to take that back to the shop, integrate it to the next Vision Pro 2, and then also release a more consumer-friendly one, perhaps around the price tag of, I would say for Apple, their base model maybe 600, 700 to maybe 1,000, maybe. And then the Pro will probably still be around that 1,500, maybe 1,600 for the sequel. I don't know. That's just my guesses. Yeah.
I personally think 1,000 would be too much because then it starts to get into MacBook range. I would rather just have a MacBook, but yeah.
I agree. Oh shit! I did not mean to close those tabs. Well, you know what? I have it in the show notes. I can just get the links again on the show notes. But now my browser is spazzing out because now I'm trying to reopen like 30 tabs. Okay, close. Make sure everything is drop frames. No, okay. But no, so yeah, I would agree with you on the idea of them trying not to cannibalize their other items around same prices. But they make weird decisions, like even their what was it? One of their latest MacBooks, not the Pros, but the MacBook Air, I think, is around the same price as a standard MacBook. But again, if it's around the same price, just get a normal MacBook. Why would you get the MacBook Air with less capabilities, but it's the same price as the previous gen MacBook, and that MacBook is still stronger than the MacBook Air? So it's cannibalizing one another, and they don't care.
Well, I think right there the trick is what they're trying to do is they're trying to upsell you to the next one to spend a little bit more money, and they're like, "Well, are you sure you only want this few cores? Are you sure you don't want this one?" It's like they just enough to get you going to the next one. I was like, you know what? Maybe the Pro is better than me. I think that's on purpose. But since it's a whole new product line, I don't know if they would jeopardize that for this first round, it being like that close to the price of MacBook Pro. But hey, I don't know. I'm not a marketing guy. Maybe they got some bigger brains up there.
Damn well they got some type of marketing guru, PR, senior executive going, yeah, just mark the price up. They'll buy anything. Matter of fact, we might start selling Apple cigars. They'll buy anything. Tesla could sell tequila. Apple's gonna have a limited stock of Apple cigars. Yeah, I don't know. I'm being facetious, of course. So sorry to cut the episode short, but it was an extra long session, so part 2 will be dropping Friday. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below or via our Discord or etc. But we'll see you Friday. Thank you. Essence of Zen After Dark is recorded by and for geeks and nerds alike. The intro and outro songs were provided by ProLeader, who you can find at proleader.bandcamp.com. That is PROLETER.bandcamp.com. If you have suggestions for topics you want to see on the show, then feel free to drop by discord.chat/Essence of Zen and join the community and give us said suggestions. Thank you.